Alright, so we got some new ESCs to explore. They're little Bumpbee Pro ESCs, 30 amp to 35 amp. And it says SBL is abbreviation on that. So let's support the, the fast, real super fast software that BL is making. Anyways, there's this ESC, and that's all it comes in this package. And, this one right here, that's it. No wires, no heat shrink. And they are on FPV models, I think it's model.com, and they're about $10.99 for one of these guys. And then they have the other version, which is the multi-shot and all one. This is S edition, which I thought multi-shot was the same thing as S. Anyways, there's a 30 amp, which is $12.90, which seems a little steeper compared to the 35. Doesn't make much sense to me. Anyways, I was noticing this circuit board is really thin. So let's see how thin the circuit board is on this ESC. Wow, 1 millimeter pretty much. 1 millimeter thickness. And these are, let's get back on there, 15.86 millimeters wide by almost 30, no, 29.6. So these should be really nice little ESCs if they live up to the way they were claiming. They were saying about these transistors on here that they're supposed to pass current really well, which I'm wondering about. Okay, so we have the ESC. That's this guy. Gartt motor, King Kong 5x4, non-bull nose. And we're going to thrust stand it here. That's interesting. It only drew 16 amps. And I've seen only, like, let's see how much that was only. Only like 600 and something grams of thrust. You see, it did get kind of warm, not real warm, but it stuttered if I punched it real hard. Huh. I wonder if this thing's going... Okay, so I tried this ESC, and I don't know if you can see it in the video on this transistor, but there's a bump here. It blew this transistor, because it's sitting there, and the motor was starting to stutter. And I was only getting like 600 and something grams of thrust at 16 amps, and I was wondering, why in the world is this thing not performing the way it should be? And then I tried launching it, just spooling up the motor again with the prop, and it would sit there and stutter, which usually means a broken wire. So I start pulling on the wires just a tad to see if anything felt loose in these wires, and this transistor popped. So, brand new ESC. I don't understand how that could happen so easily. I mean, I've already tested these motors. They run behind a Little Bees, the Little Bee 30 amp Pro series, and they're just fine. I mean, I tested the exact same motor just the other day with them, and they ran fine. And I don't get it, why this just happened like that. And I was disappointed because even when it was running, it was only producing like 600 grams of thrust. With this motor, with this prop on a Little Bee, I was getting like, 800 grams of thrust. What is going on here? I don't know if this ESC actually is that good. I don't know if there's some quality control issues here. I mean, I soldered onto the tabs. Normally, I didn't have anything backwards. Positive, negative in the middle for the signal wire, and a PWM input. And that went to my servo tester, which what most everybody uses for testing this type of stuff. So I'm not recommending this ESC at this moment. currently. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why it pops so easy. I'm going to try to contact FPV models, maybe send them this video. I'll clip it together with the motor test and the overview and all that and see. I'm hoping the other four that I bought don't do the same thing. I mean, there's quite a bit of money right here, you know, sitting here. It doesn't sound like much, but I mean, it's $11 a piece, and if they're gonna all pop or have problems, I don't know if the motor timing and the firmware was too high or something, and it was trying to tell that motor, but they don't say anything about, um, you know, anywhere on their website about it's supposed to run cooler and it has more amps capacity than standard mini ESC. It doesn't say anything about motor timing with different size prop and stuff like that. It says it'll run up to 3 to 6S. I was plugging into it with a 4S and it wasn't even fully charged. It was like 16 point something amps, or volts, I'm sorry. And I did notice after the motor test, the amperage, or the voltage was dropping radically on the battery, so that makes me think that this ESC had a short in it internally on that one transistor, or it's somewhere in the soldering, I don't know. So, I mean, I'm going to clip this all together and send it to them and see what they say. Well, sorry. I was hoping that these would be better performing than the little bees, in my opinion, but you know, I haven't seen good results yet. And I'll try to get the camera to focus in on that one transistor that popped. You might be able to see it there with this light. I don't know, this one popped. This one felt kind of warm too. Like these two main front ones were really warm, and the rest of them were kind of cool. So, I don't know if it's something in the board. Maybe it's just one that had a problem. But I've never had an ESC like this do this that was an opto. I've usually had good luck with the optos. I've only had a very, very few of them they have problems like this. So this is my first real encounter with something that just goes pop instantly from the factory with a motor that isn't the best in the world, but I mean it did fine with the little bee test, so maybe I need to go back and try it with another ESC and see if it does anything different. But I doubt it's the motor. I really do. If this thing's popping like that quick, I don't want this ESC. This one down here actually had a right light. There's a little bulge on this one too. So I don't know. And if you look really close, maybe you can't see it. You can see all these solder tabs are wet. This one right here, not wet. This one, two in the middle here, they're like the solder sucked into them. Like the amperage flowed through and pulled, I don't know, maybe it pulled, maybe the flow of the current or something flowed into the ESC some way and shorted out one of the chips. Alright, well, anyways. Okay, so the other Bumpbee did not work out too well and actually ended up popping a transistor. So I'm going to try this Polaris, or however to say it. It's made by these guys here, the ZTW company, I guess. Anyways, this is a 35 amp ESC. Yeah, 35 amp. They got it inside here, little sticker, and it's stripped down. It's kind of nice because it only has the solder tabs. And it comes with the wires, like the other one did not. But these are like, I think $13 or something like that. Anyways, it's supposed to be their S series, BLHeli-S. And it comes with a piece of heat shrink, actually, a clear piece of heat shrink. Has all about the dampening and everything inside there. I've got this from, I think it's our Buddy RC in the US, which was pretty fast shipping. This is 2 to 4 cell LiPo only. The other was 3 to 6. I don't know why it popped it. I mean, I've never had an ESC do that. But anyways, I'm going to stick it on the thrust stand and see what happens. Okay, let's see how this does. Let's see, make sure I can see the meter, and you can too. Warm up a little bit. That performed quite well. I mean, that went way past its threshold. 29 amps. It said, and I've seen over 1,000 grams of thrust. Over 1,000 with a 5x4 King Kong prop with this gartt motor. Same motor I was testing here. It's a little warm. Tiny bit warm, but I don't understand it. Okay, so motor works out fine. Nothing wrong with the motor. Something with those ESCs. They just pop easy. Because, I mean, we'll check here. Yeah. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with the motor. Nothing wrong with the ESCs. Something wrong with that other ESC. Don't know why. Anyways, thought I'd show you this.